حاب أول شيء أشكركم جميعاً على حضوركم وتفاعلكم معنا في هذه الأمسية اللي نحتفي فيها بالكاتبة البروفيسورة لندا فانش لتأليفها الكتاب حقيقة شيق جداً، وأنا إن شاء الله بقدم لكم قراءة فيه، قراءة مختصرة عشان أعطي فرصة للأستاذة البروفيسورة أنه تتكلم بالتفاصيل في ما يوجد داخل هذا الكتاب. فالكتاب كما تشوفون أنه عنوانه عمان فجر جديد، عمان ريبورن. أنا يعني أشوف أن العنوان مبتكر فعلا وجميل، لأنه عمان رغم أنه هي التاريخ قديم جدا والمؤلفة أشارت إلى هذا، لكن الولادة الحقيقية صارت في 1970 بقدوم حضرة صاحب الجلالة السلطان قابوس بن سعيد المعظم اللي هو بنى هذا البلد حقيقة. فالعنوان رائع جدا ومناسب. بروفيسور ليندا زارت سلطنة عمان عام 1974 لأول مرة في مهمة تتعلق باليونسيف وبعض مشاريعها، وبعد مرور سنوات طويلة جدا عادت إلى السلطنة 2006 تحديدا، وشافت اختلاف هائل جدا، شافت بلد آخر، يعني أصيبت بالذهول وأيضا عشقت السلطنة. 2006 لما جت كانت عندها مهمة أيضا رسمية من قبل المجلس الوطني للعلاقات العربية الأمريكية، قضت في السلطنة 10 أيام وشافت تضاريسها وجبالها وناسها وبحرها وأكلها، وبالتالي يعني صارت بينها وبين السلطنة علاقة خاصة جدا جدا. وعمان هكذا، عمان خصبة للغاية، لأنه من وجهة نظري ككاتب أنه يعني ما اكتشفت هالكتب كما المؤلفات والأقلام كما ينبغي، ونحن ندعو جميع الكتاب أنه يرجعوا يغوصوا بأقلامهم في بحر عمان ويشوفوا صفاءه ونقاءه وجماله. طبعا اللي بهرها بروفيسور ليندا إنه كيف هذا الشعب اللي كان غارق يعني في غياهب الحرمان ولعدة قرون، فجأة هذا الانتقال الكبير اللي صار في البلد شيء مذهل حقيقة، ولهذا السبب هي حبت إنه تكتب هذا الكتاب. بالبداية كتبت مجموعة من المقالات تتكون من 7 أجزاء نشرتها عبر وسائط متعددة، ثم جاءت فكرة إنه تجميع هذه المقالات وتحسينها على هيئة هذا الكتاب اللي بنتكلم عنه هذا المساء. في الكتاب 7 فصول موجودة. الفصل الأول يتعلق عن جاذبية عمان، هذا عنوانه. الفقرة هذه اللي بتشوفوها حقيقة عجبتني، تقول: تعد سلطنة عمان أقدم دولة مستقلة في العالم العربي، لا يشبه تاريخها تاريخ أي بلد آخر في الشرق الأوسط. أنا لما كنت أتكلم عن هذه المعلومة تحديداً مع بعض الزملاء أيضاً هم أصيبوا بالحيرة، قالوا: هل هي متأكدة من هذا الوصف؟ سلطنة عمان أقدم دولة مستقلة في العالم العربي، بس يبدو إنه ليندا جايبة مصادر، فهي يعني ما كاتبة هذه العبارة اعتباطاً، إنما هي مستندة على مجموعة من الوثائق اللي أكدت حالها إنه هذه معلومة 100% فعلاً صحيحة.
Oman made such an impression on me in the 70s, and I have traveled the length and breadth and width of the Middle East and lived in other countries, but Oman is something exceptional. And when I returned after 30-year absence, I found something extraordinary, and that is what inspired me to write this book and continue my research on the aspects of society, social change, development, modernization, tradition, and I hope we'll discuss that in greater detail. When I met with Mr. Hatimatai the other day, I shared with him some of the photographs I took in the 1970s, which I have now digitalized. And I thought, maybe because I love pictures and visual things, you might enjoy seeing what Oman looked like back in the day when there was one hotel in all of Oman, and that was the Fanish Hotel in Muscat, quite a different place. So let me take you on a little journey through yesteryear, if I may. Unlike other audiences, I don't have to explain to you where Oman is, alhamdulillah. But I usually begin my discussion of Oman by telling people how it was. I talk about the history, obviously, that this is a country of maritime traditions, that geography is indeed destiny in many respects, and that although Oman enjoyed great empire status for a considerable period of time, it did go into a period of decline until the late 20th century. So I paint the picture of how Oman used to be to prepare people for what I saw in the 70s. Of course, on 23rd of July, 1970, everything changed. And that's why I devoted an entire chapter in my book to the ascension to the throne of His Majesty Prince Saeed, Sultan of Oman, and his leadership. And I think this is a very important quotation because this really sets the stage for Oman's transition into modernity. Tomorrow will be a new dawn, which of course is the Arabic title of my book in its Arabic iteration. And indeed, as with everything else, His Majesty is a man of his word. And he's also quite amazingly consistent in his message. And that is something that I have traced throughout the years. What brought me to Oman in the early 70s was the fact that Oman opened up to the world. And of course, there was much to be done. I often think that lesser men would have run from such a challenge. Yes? It's really quite astounding to me how His Majesty just decided to roll up his sleeves and get on with it. And one way he did that, of course, was to rejoin the world organizations and to reach out to non-governmental organizations to assist him in prioritizing. And I was working at that time for the Ford Foundation in Beirut. Beirut was the regional headquarters for the Ford Foundation, which is a grant-making organization for development projects. And we were asked by the then Minister of Labor and Social Affairs in Oman, Mr. Hafan, to help him explore the needs of women and children in the Sultanate. So I had the honor of being a part of that project, writing the grant, arranging for the funds, and receiving the help from UNESCO in Lebanon and also the American University of Beirut and so forth. And that is how I came to be in Oman. In December of 1974, I look at this picture very, very briefly because, oh my goodness, who wants to see a picture 45 years later? But I was there, yes. And of course, this is the old airport. And then we were ushered to our only hotel. And Muscat was a very different place in those days. But enchanting from the outset, because I was living in the Paris of the Near East, where people enjoy all the material goods and have a very fast life, and they all think they're French. And here was Oman, which didn't seem to have the infrastructure or the material goods, but there was a sense of national cohesion and optimism and enthusiasm that I had seen nowhere else. And these are some members of our Omani team who, interestingly enough, in the early days, many were wearing, many of them, Western dress. This was to change, clearly. And these were some of the sights we saw in the old city. The forts of Mirani and Jalali. We took the coastal road to Sahad, and there were herders on every side of the road. You can imagine in those days driving from Muscat to Sahad. There wasn't very much in between. Fishing villages, children in brightly colored dresses, and ladies as well, fishermen. I was in Sahad 2 weeks ago and went to the fort, which is not yet open to the public. It's under reconstruction. Well, it was not then. And we had the opportunity to visit the fort and take photos. Those were some of the guardsmen at the fort. We were guests of the Wali in Sahad, which was a memorable treat for me particularly. A young girl from New York, who knows? But it was quite an experience and quite an honor to be his honored guests. Health clinics, because we were most interested in what the local practices were among women for maternal health, child care, the care of their infants, and so forth. And we were interested in developing child care guides for women with the help of our specialists in Beirut and with the help of our anthropologists who were living in Sahad and Nizwa to collect data. What's happening on the ground? What are the facts? So that was our purpose there. The fellows system, here we're being introduced to this lifeline that has enabled Oman to survive for so many centuries.
وين كان؟ لما كان في المخطوطات هيئة المخطوطات